Good morning. Welcome to My Left Ear. I hope you had a nice Memorial Day. My name is Carrie Freeman. We're calling this this is video 39. I think it's 39. Now I'm confused. No, I think it's 39. Calling it Saving Democracy Today. So this website offers political and psychic commentary. It's left-leaning. If you are right-leaning, you won't like it. You should go away. I promise you that. And it's called My Left Ear because, as many know now, subscribers, I get a lot of information just through my left ear, and a lot of it is correct. So I share it with you. And then I also do runes. I call myself a change agent. I do psychic coaching, which is explained in one sheet that I email people. Email is below. I do therapeutic hypnosis. There is a video on it. The number of it is below. And the psychic coaching is below. So take a look at all the things I do offer. Now, as we begin, a deep breath. I'm going to be all over the place today, but I have my outline, I have my agenda, so here we go. Let's start with the Texas legislators, Democratic legislators that walked out on the really dreadful Governor Abbott, and they just refused, and they walked out. It was a great show of solidarity. And it's a great beginning. Now, it won't change ultimately how they vote in Texas on the voting issues, which are very draconian, as you probably know. What's funny on Twitter, Bill Palmer, who operates a really great Twitter feed, it's very factual, very informative, and he does offer his opinions. And he didn't think it was a big deal. And this is one of the few times I disagreed with Bill Palmer. He thought it was just a show and it wasn't a big deal, but I disagree. I think those Democrats, the fact that they agreed on it and they made it happen, it just shows a mobilization. It shows serious intent. It's a beginning. They modeled a good fight. And as we know from a lot of conversations and news, people are criticizing the Democrats for not fighting hard enough. So at least something began, at least a statement was made. So I'm all for what they did, even though it won't win right now. It won't win them anything about the votes right now. So now that takes me to the runes I just did. I threw the runes privately because it's time consuming on the voting rights bill. So I wrote notes, and I'm gonna pull them out here so I can share with you. I always pull 3 runes because they tell me a progressive story. So the first rune was the rune of gateway, and it indicates a quickening of development. So this is intensity. There's a growth process. There's an acceleration about these voting rights. We can feel it. It's palpable because honestly, there's really nothing more important. I want to say, of course, COVID it's being handled. There's improvement, vast improvement, thanks to President Biden. This is accelerating, but it does say, don't get ahead of yourself. Thoughtful decisions are needed. Now, the second rune indicates a blockage. Now, that's not a surprise. We're in the fight of the century right now. This does not discourage me. The final rune was signals, and it comes with messages, even warnings sometimes, but it does indicate new life unfolding, new connections. It says, expect the unexpected, and it does say connection with the divine is at hand. This makes my left ear, when I say me, I'm always also talking about my left ear. Sometimes I say we. So we feel that this is going to go through by hook or by crook. It's going to go through. And it's interesting, we've got Kristen Sinema from Arizona and Joe Manchin, who's now very famous, from West Virginia, causing difficulty, not being on board, being a little more Republican-like. But the president gave a great speech on Memorial Day, and he called those two out. And he did it on purpose. And as many indicate, nobody's got more experience than Joe Biden. And he knows good timing. And he knew this was the moment to call them out. It does hang on them a little bit. But I want you to know, when the last rune is signals and new life unfolding, new connections, I think we're going to pull this off. What I don't know yet, and I'm going to save that for maybe the next video, is how much treachery, let's say it wins, like my left ear thinks it's going to go through the voting. So let's say yes. Good news, right? Incredible news. Most important news of the century. However, we don't know what kind of criminal acts that Republicans will continue to try to do to get the votes the way they want. And we don't know how these awful policies that are happening all over the red states will get reversed. That I don't know yet. I have to do a little research and a little study, which is part of this job, and I really enjoy it. People have been wondering, will there be another insurrection? My left ear says, if so, very, very small. There's too much awareness about planning, the FBI. Everybody's on this now since January 6th. So there may be something, but it's not going to be January 6th, and it's going to be rather minimal. I want to say don't worry. It's a rumor, and they're letting it build, blah, blah, blah. Now, in terms of the former guy, I've got his name written down here. I just hate saying his name. The former guy's indictments are coming. I know that the pundits go on these MSNBC and stuff and say, well, there may not be any indictments. They're just calling the grand jury. My left ear is here to tell you, yes, there are indictments. It cannot be any other way. When they pull in this accounting forensic expert, Pomerantz, they're doing that for a good reason. So, but here's what I want to say. And I read this, so I'm sharing it with you. It's possible that the SDNY is waiting to move against Trump with criminal charges until after they convict Giuliani or convince Rudy Giuliani to flip on Trump. Michael Cohen seems to think he will flip on Trump. Be patient. My left ear. Now there's a list of legislators that are being called out on sedition charges because these people allegedly gave tours of the Capitol before the riot, before January 6th. These are the people. Gohmert from Texas, Jim Jordan from Ohio, Paul Gosar, Arizona, Lauren Boebert, I think she's Colorado, and Matt Gaetz, of course, Florida, and Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia. Funny thing about Paul Gosar, he's been in hiding. He's been trying to run from subpoenas that are being delivered to him via Eric Swalwell's lawsuit. But he's hiding and they can't find him. And Eric Swalwell hired a private detective so they can hand Paul Gosar his subpoenas. Now, he wasn't evidently afraid of giving tours of the Capitol to the Proud Boys and the insurrectionists, but he's really afraid of a subpoena piece of paper. Funny. Joe Biden, our terrific president, he is to be considered a transformational president. I've been reading a little bit. There's this category, transformational president. FDR was, Lyndon Johnson was. These are presidents that come in crises, and they all have one thing in common: a lot of guts. Isn't that interesting? A lot of guts. Historian Susan Dunn, who's written all about presidents, FDR said that the nation was like a person with a body, a mind, and a spirit. And the spirit is, according to FDR, is the soul of the country. He said, we're in an ongoing quest for freedom and equality. Now think about how long ago he said that. We're in an ongoing quest for freedom and equality. He said, if the soul is killed, the soul of the country, but the mind and body are active, it does not matter. The country is dead. So when Joe Biden says we're fighting for the soul, he's also a historian. He knows about all these presidents. He has studied them. He says the same thing. And it is not an exaggeration. Okay, I blew up again. You know how this happens if you watch me long enough, my print just blows up and I can't read it. I just want a little lighthearted moment. When Joe Biden gave his Memorial Day speech, I think it was his Memorial Day speech, he held up a piece of paper like this because he said, I have a list, and he's smiling. And it's the list of all the pubs who voted no on COVID relief, but who are taking credit for it with their constituents. We knew that was the truth. We knew that was happening. Well, when Joe explained this, he literally broke out in a giggle. I mean, it was a very organic giggle. It was sort of delightful. And he said, some people have no shame. And I loved the moment. I loved that he used humor. But he has the list, and he was letting them know. I know who you are, and I know you're taking credit for our good work. I love it. The Stoics said, because I know this is a very treacherous time, and it's a very scary time, but the Stoics said, whatever is happening, it's happened before. And the Stoics were ancient, but we're still here. And presidential historian Michael Beschloss said that democracy has been threatened many times before. Abraham Lincoln, he quoted Abraham Lincoln. I wish I'd been there and written down the quote. But Abraham Lincoln made a speech about democracy being threatened. So no, this is not brand new. Should bring you a little bit of comfort. I got a message from my left ear. It's a little outrageous, but I want to share it with you because maybe it'll happen. My left ear told me we need an entirely new party. That would not be the Democrats. The Democrats are fine. But this new party for right now would be aligned with the Democrats to squash the rise of fascism and preserve democracy. This new party would be conservative, like kind of the old Republicans, more or less. But this new party, which I'm hoping develops, I'm hoping it's developing, getting a groundswell. It must push out QAnon. It must rob all these dissidents of oxygen. Oxygen. Now, my left ear. You're wondering, this rumor that's going around that the former guy will be inaugurated in the fall? No. don't give that any thought. His blog closed down yesterday because it wasn't getting traffic. Pet Finder has more traffic than the former guy's blog, which I love because I love Pet Finder. He's failing people. People will show up for the rallies, but he's losing lots of money. His legal fees are bearing him. His properties are losing money. The subpoenas are coming fast and furious, like a dealer in Vegas. And they're going to him, and they're going to his children, and his children are squawking about it. They're very scared. They're very scared. They know what they've done. The former guy's world is getting smaller. He's focused on fear, and he's focused on the SDNY charges. Now, in terms of the rally that's coming up on June 12th, which is not far away, which is being put on by the Pillow Guy and D'Souza and maybe Lynn Wood, you know, all those nutty people. And here's the funny thing. It appears that 45 is only going to appear on a jumbotron, not on stage, pacing back and forth, making eye contact. And why? Why is he only appearing on a jumbotron? Because MLE tells me he is not well. And aside from impending dementia, I think he's struggling with Parkinson's. You know, he's drinking through a straw when everybody else at a grown-up table is drinking through a glass. It's much easier when people start losing muscular control to try to get sips through a straw. It's a little giveaway. Here's another MLE. Now, it's about this awful governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. There's indicators that there's a scandal brewing with him. And MLE says yes. And fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a sexual scandal. His alignment with Greenberg, who's flipped on Gates and who has so many charges against him, they were all very, very connected, like enmeshed. Something is coming for DeSantis, who truly deserves it. And then the runes. Will democracy survive? This is my second rune. So the runes were not positive. I cannot lie to you. I got the opposite of flow. There is disruption. There is the rune of disruption. And we know, I mean, disruption. But the flow rune in reverse says, no overreach. Do not operate beyond the power you have funded. Failure to draw upon wisdom of instinct could be negative. I did clarifiers, and I still got negative runes. Now I'm going to tell you what I think, because you know I'm honest with you. I think the energy is so packed and fearful right now, and this is such a threat that my runes literally picked up on the fear and the threat. So I'm sharing it with you, but what I really want to do is go back and do it again. I'm not convinced. I think we might be like pulled right to the edge, right to the precipice, and then pulled back. And like I said, Michael Beschloss, very classy man, educated, wonderful, presidential historian, and there are other ones too. He's not the only one, but he's really great. That a number of past presidents talked about an immediate threat to democracy. I'm repeating this again because it's not new. I think it may be more crucial right now, but it's not new. So there we go. This is the big stuff for the week, and I will be back. I have been keeping a schedule of doing one video a week. And someone the other day was criticizing that and saying, you know, your YouTube isn't going to grow. You're just doing one a week. They even question whether I enjoy it. And I do enjoy it. And I think you can tell I enjoy it. Well, here's the deal. I'm not getting up and doing tarot cards, which I respect, but I'm not doing that. Tarot cards are very immediate. Boom, 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 we talk. But I create an outline. All week long, I'm watching the news and I'm reading, and I'm getting hits from my left ear, and I'm keeping an outline in my computer. I'm jotting notes. It's all accumulating during that week. So I do a lot of homework, and I do a lot of prep. So I want to explain that, and I hope I might be able to do more in the future, but here's the other thing I want to share with you. When I'm not doing the video or writing my outline, I am involved in Zoom sessions with clients, either doing therapeutic hypnosis or psychic coaching. I do that 5 days a week. Then I'm rewriting a book, and I've written a new article that's 4,800 words, and I'm submitting that. At the same time, I'm self-supporting. I have no family. I have no uncle, husband. I have no inheritance. It's all up to me. So I'm sharing that with you as a way to put out a message to my accuser. Now, we're on to the quotes. Two of these quotes are from e-Buddhism. They're Buddhist quotes. I have a whole bunch of them. I'll keep sharing them with you as time goes on. This is a good one for today, for now, for what we're going through. Here it is. Nothing is permanent. Don't stress yourself too much, because no matter how bad the situation is, it will change. And this is really so true, because change is our only constant. We get very upset when we start fighting with it, but it's there and we can't control it. But no matter how bad the situation is, it will change. So feel good about that. The next one, e-Buddhism. Persevere. You will win. Not immediately, but definitely. Persevere. And then the last one, I've said this during this episode, but the Stoics align with Buddhism, and the Stoics said, whatever is happening, it has happened before. I think that's a powerful, powerful message. So I'm off to do more creative work, to Zoom, to help people. And I want to say to you, thank you for your beautiful letters and support, which light me up and make me feel so good, people. Make peace, make memories. Let me hear from you. Oh, by the way, looking for the subscriptions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good to see ya.